Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I will be ranking all 22 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. But before this begins, I just want to tell you guys, this is my list. You do not have to agree with me. This is just my personal opinion, and if you don't agree with me, you don't have to. So I have a sticky note with every single movie on it, and it's got the rating of which, like in order. So first up, in last place is Thor: The Dark World. Now, a lot of people hate this movie. I never really liked it, nor did I ever really hate it, because I've probably only watched it about 3 times, so compared to some of the other times, compared to like Infinity War and Civil War, I've watched this movies like 10, so that's not that much. And there was it's sad that it's like not that good, because it's so important to the MCU because it brings in the Aether, and pretty much more known as the Reality Stone, and that's really important in future movies like Infinity War and Endgame. And before I continue, there will be minor spoilers for Endgame in this. No, that's a lie. There's going to be a lot of spoilers for Endgame in this, so if you have not seen it, click off this video now and go watch some of my other videos. So that is why Thor: The Dark World is in last, and it has one of the least memorable villains ever. I don't even remember. Malekith, I think his name was. See, I don't even remember because the movie was trash. And in 21st place, we have Iron Man 2. Now, a lot of people disagree with this one, but I was never really a fan of the second Iron Man. I feel like they tried to cram a lot of good characters into one movie. Like, they had Whiplash, they had Justin Hammer, they had, all these different kinds of villains, and plus there's a whole thing with War Machine, and it's just many plot lines all just jammed into one movie. They're like, alright, we need to make it as good as the first one, so they just grabbed a bunch of ideas and just mixed it all into one. It's like someone just had like 6 different scripts in their hand, and then they tripped, and then they just shoveled it all together. It was like, hey, here's the Iron Man 2 script. So that wasn't really, I was never really a big fan of Whiplash, but it's still not a bad movie, and I've watched this movie a couple times now, and it's alright. So yeah, I dropped my notes. So coming up in 20th place, we have The Incredible Hulk. Now, I was never really a fan of the Hulk, and like at all. I really didn't like this Hulk movie. I like the Abomination, and I like Stan Lee's cameo, but probably one of the reasons why I really don't like this movie is because I like Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, and when I first watched the Avengers, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't Hulk, and just the actor change really affected Hulk for me. But of course now in like Endgame, Infinity War, and Thor Ragnarok, the newer movies, he's really cool, and that's why, yeah. And so Hulk wasn't really a good movie for me, but it's still a good Marvel movie. And so that leads into 19th, which from here on out, I absolutely love all these movies, and it's so hard to rank them. So in 19th place, we have Thor. Now, Thor was a good movie. It was a great introduction to the character Thor, but overall, it did what it's supposed to. It introduced Thor, and that's all it really needed to do. It introduced Thor, Loki, Mjolnir, Asgard. That's the main point that Marvel was trying to make in this movie, and that's exactly what they did. They got it so that those things were in the movie, and they were explained well. The villains, the whole Thor not worthy, it's pretty cool for Thor's character, but he just looked kind of weak in the first and second one, and I think that's why those are so low on my ranking. But some of the better movies are up top, like Thor Ragnarok. And coming up in 18th place, now, like I said, these movies from here are all my favorites, but I cannot narrow it down. So in 18th, I have Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't this is actually one of the few movies on this list. This, Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor were the movies I did not see in theaters. I'm pretty sure all the rest of them I've seen in theaters. So this was, I never really seemed interested in this because I was like, oh, it doesn't have the Avengers on it, so like, who cares? And then when I actually did watch it, I really liked it, and just the introduction to the Guardians, and with Ronan, and bringing kind of Thanos closer to it, the Power Stone, it did everything right. It introduced the characters, it killed Groot, it brought Groot back to life, and it really made it, you know, people love these characters they had just met, and that's why it's a really good movie, and it does what it's supposed to. Okay, up next, in 17th, we have the original Iron Man. Now, I love this movie, like, with all my heart, but the reason it's so far down on my list is just because I didn't find it. I watched this movie so much. Like, every time I went over to my aunt's, that's the only thing we would do. We'd watch Iron Man. And, you know, it was never one of my favorite characters, but you can't not love Iron Man. And all the way up to Endgame, when he sadly passes away, you just gotta love Iron Man. There's no hate towards Iron Man. And, yeah, this movie does everything it could with Iron Man, just the introduction, and the introduction to the MCU. That is why it's further up on the movie, because the only reason I really didn't like this movie was because they were kind of trying to figure out what the MCU was going to be like. Was it going to be like all dark and brooding? Was it going to be funny? Was it just going to be action-packed? And then they picked a couple and then put them together, and that is why this is such a good movie, but so far down on the rankings as well. And next up, in 16th, we have Iron Man 3. This was probably my favorite Iron Man movie. A lot of people didn't like it because with the Mandarin and how he wasn't actually the bad guy. And I didn't like that either, but I did like Aldrich Killian, and I did like the parts that Mandarin was in, and I just liked the plot with Harvey, I'm pretty sure. I was gonna say Henry, that wasn't right. With Harvey the kid, and honestly, it's just a great movie that does a lot. But the only bad part about the movie, why it gets so much hate, is because in the end, it's like, boom, Iron Man's retiring, boom, you know, this is the end of Iron Man's arc, and then they're like, just kidding, here's Age of Ultron, and then he's gonna be in like 10 more movies after that. So, up next, in 15th, is Avengers. Now, this is a great movie. I think this is one of the first movies I saw Marvel movies I saw in theaters. I remember I went to go see it, and I just loved Captain America, and that's one of the main reasons why I went and saw it. And I was, you know, younger at the time, and I was afraid of Hulk. But this movie was just great. It introduces so many, you know, like introduces Hawkeye, the return of Loki, and it was just such a good movie, and it lines up so much of the MCU, and it brings together these characters. And without this movie, you know, the MCU wouldn't be what it is today, and most of these characters probably wouldn't exist. So, Avengers, great movie, and I'm sorry it has to be so low on my list, and 15th, because there's just so many more movies that are above it, but that's just because, you know, like, I love them all. And there's some movies I did like a little more than this, and that's just why it's in 15th. It's not that it's bad, it's just that there's a lot of movies that I like. Coming up in 14th, Captain Marvel. That was one of the filler movies just to get to Endgame to announce his character. They did a great job introducing Carol Danvers and the Skrulls and all that, and it definitely can play an important part in the future of the MCU. And I really, really enjoyed this movie. It was probably like my favorite like female-led movie, and it's just such a great movie. And you know, like, it just did a great job introducing the character and showing how Nick Fury lost his eye. Spoilers if you have not seen the movie, which if you haven't seen Captain Marvel, I don't know why you're watching this. And how he loses his eye to a cat, well, an alien cat. That I don't remember what its name actually is because it's like really long and like evil alien cat. Up next in 13, we have Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, this was actually really far down on some people's lists. I really liked the movie. I thought it was really cool, and it introduces Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and one of the main reasons it's hated is because after they introduced Quicksilver, they just killed him off. But that really helps put Scarlet Witch in like a tough position in the MCU. And kind of like puts her in her place for Civil War, and from that, it's just a great movie. Ultron was good. A lot of people were saying how they're upset that Ultron died in the end, because in the comics, Ultron is like a returning villain. He's like boom, 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 and so a lot of people were upset about that. But hey, maybe you can Ultron can come back. A lot of people. The main reason Ultron wanted to destroy Earth was to kill Tony Stark, but of course now that Tony Stark's dead, there's no point in returning. Maybe not. Maybe Morgan, Iron Man's daughter, becomes the new Iron Woman. Maybe Iron Lad comes to the big screen as Harvey from Iron Man 3. Overall, that was just a really good movie. And coming up in 12th place is one of the funniest movies in the MCU, Ant-Man. I really enjoyed Ant-Man, this movie, and it actually put this character pretty high up on my list of favorite superheroes, coming in around 4th or 5th place. Ant-Man, I love how they put how they made Scott Lang on the big screen, and putting Paul Rudd as Scott Lang was a great idea. And just, another one of those filler movies. There's not a lot happening. From Avengers Age of Ultron, where there's a giant robot trying to destroy the entire planet, and then Marvel was like, hey, let's calm it down a little bit, get a couple good normal movies with just a heist, and that leads us into number 11, which 11 is, where is 11? Yes, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Like I said, I'm a really big fan of Captain America. As you can see, all my Captain America merch back there, and then I got some stuff up here too, somewhere, right here. It's just a couple pop action figure, a couple legends of Captain America. He's one of my favorite superheroes. And this movie really bumped him up in one of my favorites, and it's the first movie that Anthony and Joe Russo directed, and I really like where they went with Captain America, and how in the elevator scene he realizes he can't trust anyone, and it kind of builds his character up for Infinity War and Endgame. I'm sad it has to be at 11th, but it just does because I like them all the movies so much, and it's just hard to place them. So Captain America 2, great movie. Love the Winter Soldier, probably one of my favorite villains, along with Loki and can't think of his name now, but yeah, definitely one of my favorites. And then that leads us into the top 10. But before we get in the top 10, guys, I just want to let you guys in a quick reminder that I have a new channel out called the Y Clan, and it's got me, Grim Ranger, Maximus Builder, and Wild Breezy all in it. And we're going to be doing some pretty cool videos coming soon. I think we're doing a Q&A. We're in the making of a trick shot video. And it's just a really fun channel, so go check that out and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. And coming up in 10th place is Captain America, the First Avenger. I love this movie. I love Captain America's backstory, and I love how he is brought into the MCU. By far, one of my favorite movies. And I just really like how they introduced the character, and with his romance with Peggy Carter, and his kind of relationship with Bucky before he dies, and I just love the Red Skull. Was kind of not a really memorable villain, but it definitely helped lead up to the Soul Stone in Infinity War and in Endgame. Bringing us to number 9, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like I said, I really do enjoy the Ant-Man character, and Wasp just makes it 10 times better with just another funny movie coming right after Infinity War, which is like really weird because Infinity War killed like all our favorite superheroes, and they're like, hey, look at this one, boo, bee. Funny joke. Ants, giant ants. Let's make this movie happy. And that's exactly what they did. And this is overall a really good movie. You know, another one of those movies where it's not like world domination. It's just like another like bad guy situation, playing a little cat, or like playing sort of like a, I don't know how to say it, maybe like a catch and receive sort of game or something. You want to get the building, and then the other people get the building, and then the other people get the building, and then it just goes back and forth, and that's why this movie was really funny. And that brings us into number 8, Black Panther. Now, I've only watched this movie twice, and I really liked what they did with Black Panther. I really liked the bad guy and who they put to play the bad guy. I just really like the characters. It definitely brings in what happens in Civil War, and definitely shows like the importance of Wakanda and T'Challa in Infinity War. Not much to say about this movie, but that leads us into our number 7, which is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This movie made me laugh so hard when I saw it. I love Baby Groot. I love the Star-Lord and Ego relationship thing. I love the what are they called? Ravengers. The whole story with that is pretty good. I don't really like the Nebula and Gamora sort of story, but other than that, the movie's a great movie. Introduces Mantis and maybe a Mantis and Drax relationship going on. Overall funny movie, one of the funniest in the MCU. Bringing us into number 6 is one of my favorite superheroes, is also around the 4 and 5 ranking for my top favorite superheroes, is Doctor Strange. I really like Doctor Strange and how he kind of just brings in this mystical realm to the MCU and adds something to it, and kind of like opens up a bunch of opportunities for like a multiverse, as the Ancient One said, and recently in the new Spider-Man trailer is also mentioned the multiverse, and that really couldn't have been possible without Doctor Strange. He's more of a mystic fighter, and I really do like Doctor Strange. I would show you all my Doctor Strange stuff, but I really don't have any. And that is why Doctor Strange is up in my 6th ranking. Now into my top 5. Michael, if you're watching this, top 5. Inside joke. In 5th place, we have Thor Ragnarok. Once again, one of the funniest movies in the MCU, probably the funniest one to me, and I really like the adult sort of comedy in it, and I love how Thor's like new character. love Loki in this movie. Valkyrie's a good character that, unlike Thor, The Dark World, this movie you can remember, like it's more of like you can more remember Hela than you can evil Buddy the Elf. And a really great movie. I love the plot. I love Meek and Korg. Those are some funny characters, and it's a really good movie. I love Hulk in this movie, and I love how they brought in some comic book adaptations in it. And that brings us into number 4, which is Spider-Man Homecoming, my 2nd favorite superhero. I really like what they did with this character. If you guys know this, before Tom Holland was introduced as Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield was my favorite Spider-Man, and this just blows it out of the water. You know, I still like Andrew Garfield. I love the first Amazing Spider-Man, but this new Spider-Man makes this MCU 10 times better. Everybody was looking forward to this, and now they got a Spider-Man. Great movie, great relationship with Liz, and the Vulture is introduced to be Liz's dad, which is crazy. Bringing us into the top 3. Many of you can already assume, based on the movies I haven't said yet, what my top 3 are. But what order will kind of surprise you. In 3rd place, I have Avengers Infinity War. This was my almost, it was this close to beating 2nd place, I can tell you that. But I absolutely love this movie. I love Thanos. I love the story with the stones. I love like Thor going to get Stormbreaker. I love Iron Man in this movie and how half of the Avengers are in space and half are in Wakanda. And it's just overall a really good movie. And of course with the dusting, actually this dusting like that, because that, you know, he's his left hand. Anyway, great scene in the movie. That's why, one of the reasons why it's so high up is because it has all my favorite characters in it, and it's just a really amazing movie. In second place, we have Avengers Endgame. Major spoilers ahead, this movie blew my mind when I saw it. Captain America with Peggy, Iron Man dying, Thanos getting snapped, Captain America pretty much about to face the entire of Thanos' army by himself, when all of a sudden Doctor Strange does a couple portals and all my favorite superheroes back. We got Spider-Man, we got Falcon, we got T'Challa, we got Doctor Strange, we got them all. They're all back. Wasp, she's back. They're all back. Valkyrie, she's here now. That's cool. Can't go wrong with Valkyrie. Great movie. That is why it is so far up on the list. I love what they did with Captain America in this movie and how they didn't actually kill him. I thought they would. I definitely thought he was going to make a sacrifice play. But that ends up being Iron Man. And I'm not questioning Marvel's reasoning for that. But I do really think that was a good idea for the next Spider-Man movie coming out later on next month, which will be awesome and I cannot wait to see. Bringing us to our number one, Captain America Civil War. I absolutely love this movie. I loved the Captain America versus Iron Man. It was just such a great movie. I love the introduction to Spider-Man. Sorry, I got a little sore throat. I love the introduction to Spider-Man, Black Panther. I love what they did with Winter Soldier. I absolutely love the Winter Soldier, like I said earlier on, and that is why it is in the top rank. But guys, that is going to wrap up this video. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below what your ranking is for these movies. Also, remember, go check out the Y Clan. It's a great channel. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.